Hey guys, we're back here with Izzy, and we were just talking about businesses and what they're doing in terms of gun sales. And I was just stating that it basically doesn't matter what you make the age when it comes to guns, because people who are underage are going to find a way to get it. Now, that doesn't mean, like I was just saying, that you promote young people, get guns. But once again, when it comes to that, I don't necessarily see a huge issue in that. I mean, like, you have many schools across the country that have like skeet shooting and stuff like that, or other types of shooting, and they're 18. And I think that's completely fine. If you're 18 years old and you're an adult, you should be able to make your own decisions when it comes to your life. In terms of what these businesses are doing, I may disagree with what they're doing, but overall it is the business's choice. And I was posting about this yesterday. These businesses have the freedom to, raise the age on gun purchases. They have the freedom to ban certain types of guns, and that's completely fine. And there might be even some policies when it comes to what they're doing that I might agree with. However, you also got to understand that people have the freedom to never shop there again.
Exactly. And honestly, I've never personally, like someone who is, I've grown up with weapons around the house, growing up with a safe gun-owning family. Never once have I ever considered buying an armed weapon from Walmart.
No. I mean,
honestly, I didn't even know that, to be completely honest, I didn't even know that Walmart sold guns.
I knew that they sold guns. I just never thought that was a good place to probably go buy one, Matt.
Yeah, no, that it never even occurred to me. So it's not just the effectiveness of what they're trying to do, and it's completely their right, and I'm all for it in the sense of it is business's right, because there's no government intervention on that. There's not government regulation. They can do what they want to do. So you go, Walmart. But how much do you really think it's going to benefit the problems we're currently facing?
Well, and in terms of Walmart, I hate to stereotype the people who go there, but I mean, Walmart overall, people who go there, it seems like would be more conservative. And the thing is, I don't know how much gun sales they make or how much that would impact and everything like that in terms of 18 to 21-year-olds. But I feel like if you're going to have a lot of people who are conservative that go to Walmart and you do something like that, that's just a bad PR move on you. And the thing is, with Dick's Sporting Goods, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that, it's another one I'd assume there would be more conservative people going there. I mean, could you imagine, if... just saying, this wouldn't happen, I don't think. But could you imagine, Bass Pro Shops, not selling guns to, those people or anything like that? People would be like, whoa. It would be a bad PR move.
Fathom.
Yeah, I couldn't fathom. That's the thing, yeah. Another story in terms of this whole things have been going on with gun and gun control. First, I'm going to start off with something really local. At Sierra, Wednesday, there was a threat online, I believe, of somebody who was saying that there was going to be a person that was going to come shoot up the school. And I believe the entire V building was on lockdown. And basically, they had to call the Rockland PD, and they came by and verified that there was no shooter on campus. So there's a lot of false people trying to say that they're going to go shoot up the school. And that's the thing that scares me about how much we share information about these types of people who go out and kill 12, 20, 50 people, is people see that, and it is somewhat motivation, or you're giving them too much face coverage to where people are going to want to go out and be vigilantes themselves. It's the same thing. It actually happened at Lincoln the other day. I remember, I think I saw this on Lincoln PD. Burns sent a message out about it saying that somebody said they were going to come shoot up the school, and they detained the person. And this is a huge problem, because if we can't designate what the actual true threat is versus somebody who's just an asshole online, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's so frustrating, because then you have, I'm trying to remember what the event was, but I think you and I discussed this when we were in high school in our politics class, about the mass murderer that was doing the mass shootings, and all he wanted was media attention, is why he did it.
Yeah, I think that wasn't Orlando, because that was more recent. I think that was the one of the community college in Oregon.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Umpqua College. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the one that started up the whole conversation of gun-free zones and stuff like that, and how that doesn't work, or what we should do and stuff like that about guns. But I mean, in terms of gun control, there are certain things I think that do make sense, and I'll get into those when we talk about what Trump was saying. But I wanted to go ahead and get into this story that I was reading here. My friend actually sent me this one a couple days ago, and I just laughed. This is just the headline. Boy arrested for alleged gun threat or school threat with Lego gun. Listen to this. Authorities have arrested a 14-year-old boy they say posted an online threat against a San Diego County school that included a photo of an AR-15 rifle made of logos. The boy was arrested Tuesday on suspicion of making terrorist threats. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department said the boy is a freshman at West Hills High School in Santee. He allegedly posted an Instagram photo of the toy weapon with the warning, "Don't come to school tomorrow." Now look, like we were just saying, if you're going to threaten like a school or something like that and you actually have a gun or whatever, regardless if you don't have the picture or you do have the picture and you know it's an actual gun, that should be taken seriously. But like, is this in bad taste? Yes. But bro, are you seriously going to put a person, or you're going to arrest somebody because they have a Lego gun and they're just making a stupid joke? No, they should obviously be talked about, and that's shows that their parents don't know what the heck they're doing with the kid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on, that's not something that's worthy of getting arrested over. That's ridiculous. He literally posted a picture of a Lego gun. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. And that just makes me angry on two levels of the parents. I mean, seriously, you haven't educated your son enough to know that that is something that you don't joke about, especially considering the time since Columbine to 2018. That's not really something you joke about. And
No.
then on top of that, I mean, really? Like, I'm just kind of... I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I saw that and I was just like, what the heck is this all about? Now, I am reading from another site here. It says authorities say that the student had access to hunting rifles in his home. Maybe his parents had owned some of those. A surge in threats against schools has prompted numerous arrests in the wake of the Florida school shooting. So there's a lot of people, like I was saying, who have gone out there and made false claims that they're going to go shoot up a school. Also Tuesday, San Diego police arrested a 15-year-old boy who allegedly said he planned to shoot up Westview High School. It's so sad. I mean, like, there's got to be something wrong with a person's, like, mental health there, or mental stability if they're doing that. And that's a huge problem. Like, when people say, you know, they're not willing to admit how big of a mental health issue we have in this country, when you see stuff like this, it's just undeniable. And the thing is, I was talking to my class about this earlier this week. You have to be careful when you talk about it, because when you mention mental health and gun control in the same sentence, you don't want to make it to where like you seem like you're lumping mental health people and you're saying they're all crazy and they're going to all go shoot up schools, because that's not the case. Some of them have just genuine depression, anxiety, stuff like that, and they're just not stable. But that doesn't mean they're going to go shoot up a school, and that's not the case with every person who's mentally ill. And sometimes I feel like they get attributed to where that's the case. So you have to be careful when you're talking about mental illness, but I definitely think that we need to do more on mental illness in this country.
Oh, absolutely. Every time someone brings up gun control, my first response is, what about mental health? It always has been. I mean, honestly, I think the administration, and I don't even necessarily mean the presidential administration, but yes as well, I think bureaucratic institutions need to take mental health more seriously. And I think that is something we need to start focusing on, because when you see the shooters that have happened, most of the time, I actually can't think of one, and correct me if I'm wrong, because there's probably one that I'm not thinking of, someone that wasn't having severe mental issues that shot up a school or attempted to.
Yeah, the only mass shooting I can think of in general that didn't have anything to do with mental illness or didn't have anything to do with instability was the Vegas shooting. And
he killed himself, so we don't even really know. Exactly.
Well, I don't want to get into conspiracy or anything, because I'm not that type of person, except when it comes to stuff like that personally. They say he killed himself. But I won't get into that. I'll just say that one has me really suspicious on it, knowing that all the details about it and everything. But in terms of the more recent cases and stuff like that, I mean, that just proves that we have a problem in this country that isn't being addressed properly.
Oh, yeah, and it is And there's on a basic level, mental health needs to be taken care of because college students and high school students and adults, I mean, just on a basic level, most people struggle with it in some aspect. So even if we took out the gun control aspect, it is something that still needs to be addressed. But now the fact that student lives are being put at risk, if that isn't going to make it take more seriously, I don't know what will.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking just really quick on the conspiracy aspect and everything, in terms of this, what are your thoughts on everybody who's calling these kids who are going out and advocating for gun control, talking to these politicians and mention everything that they've taken from the NRA? What are your thoughts on all of them, certain people that are saying that they're crisis actors and people who have said that they're not being genuine?
I've actually done a lot of research on this a lot recently because there's just so many different sides to what's happening. I think from the student perspective of the students that are going out and advocating that, hey, we need gun control, this isn't okay, we can't let this happen again. I mean, when we were in high school, if this was to happen to us, I mean, I can't even imagine what those students have experienced. So, yeah. I mean, that your entire world would quite literally be shaken. So from their perspective, I think what they're doing is cool, and I'm glad that they're getting involved in our political process, and they are fighting for what they believe in. But I do think there's a lot of word of mouth that is happening. I was watching Fox and actually CNN the other night, and CNN was doing like a town hall type scenario in Parkland School. I don't know if you happen to see this, and they had the students write questions prior to the town hall, and they would have in CNN, they were going to answer them. Well, one of the students, they changed his question completely.
I saw this story too. I was just looking that up. I'm trying to find the story because I can't remember his name. But I saw something.
It was on Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I saw it on there too. I saw somebody. I don't know if you ever watched Philip DeFranco. I watch a lot of his videos on YouTube. The question that. And I don't know how much I believe it because, once again, it's CNN that's reporting this aspect as well. But in terms of the email that was sent out that had the question, there was a change in some certain wording there. I'll have to find the video. There was a change in the certain wording when it came to the email, not the question, but the email. And basically what ended up happening is the dad of that kid, I guess, was the one to edit and basically it was how the story got out that way. However, at the same time, I've seen photos of close-ups from that town hall that show papers of people, the students mainly, holding questions where it says your question here. And that's something that kind of just makes me a little suspicious a little bit there. Yeah. But at the same time, I would say, I think it's good for these kids to go out there and actually speak their minds on everything. And I think that, what we've really seen in the last week is a lot of people who have been saying, young people don't know anything. They don't know anything about politics. Therefore, these people are invalid with their viewpoints. And I think that's just a bunch of load of horse shit. Because first off, there are 16-year-olds that I know that are more politically motivated than 30 to 40-year-olds. And, absolutely. I mean, that's why Lincoln, for example, sophomores and juniors can be in doers comparative politics class. They're 16, 17 years old. And, a lot of them have opinions on stuff, and I think it's valuable.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, I'm not going to brag here because I'm not here to do that, but I mean, I started my show when I was 17. And there's a lot of people I know that have other podcasts across this country that started when they were younger. And I think this ageism when it comes to politics is just so toxic to where we can't actually understand, each other, and it's just creating more division.
Oh, absolutely. And you and I were lucky. We grew up in a very political high school, I would also like to note, which is very odd. But most of the students around us were very politically motivated, and obviously not all of them because high schoolers, but most of our students were. And I think it's such a special thing that people need to understand that just because teenagers and just because 15, 16, 17 doesn't mean they haven't done their research or they haven't experienced life enough to understand why they think the way they think. And maybe there's something valid to what they're thinking because, I hate when professors do the whole, like, when we ask, well, what do we do about it? And they point to us and say, well, you're the future.
I hate to cut you off, Izzy, but I have to go to part 3. 15 minutes are up. Sorry, guys.